What's going on, guys? Alex here, checking in for a life update video. It's been a while. Feeling a bit rusty around doing these videos. It's been quite a few weeks. Last video I did was about a book release called The Art of Self-Respect, a book that I wrote that I wanted to let you guys know about. And I've since written another book actually called Creatively Jacked, which I haven't done a video on, so I encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. Creatively Jacked. It's about basically being more motivated, finding creative motivation and energy for your projects. So I've been in Estonia. I'm actually reporting from just next to a dog park here in Tallinn, capital of Estonia. As you can see, I've already sort of lost my ability to speak on video. And I've been here since the end of January 24. It's now late April. And it's still a bit chilly. You can probably sense that there's a bit of wind coming through, but it's also cold. It's about 2 degrees and it hasn't really given us a proper spring vibe yet here. So winters are long. That's probably one of the main challenges. I moved over here from Poland. I'd been living in Poland for a couple of years, as many of you know. And the main reason for coming to Estonia was because I am very curious about potentially getting a property somewhere affordable, somewhere that has a bit of a temperate, kind of more northerly vibe about it. You know, sort of temperate climate. It snows in the winter. It's not too hot, and it's affordable, and it's kind of a European vibe, which I was looking for. So Estonia ticked many boxes, and the intention was to come here and do a bit of research, get a feel for the city, get a feel for the countryside, and have a look around, and maybe find a potential place. I'm also potentially looking into Latvia and other places, but Estonia is still kind of sitting at the top. I know that many of you are probably thinking it's a bit crazy to be so close to certain neighbours with certain things going on in current affairs, but I'm feeling pretty confident that this is for another video really, but I'm confident that we're going to be okay. There's always a risk. If I was to invest in land or property here, there will be that risk of losing it. I totally understand that. But there aren't too many other options in terms of what I really envision in my head for a kind of dream situation. And just wanted to talk a little bit more about that. So I've been working over the last few weeks to get a longer stay here. It's quite difficult to get a visa or a residency permit in Estonia, and I managed to get my papers together and some documents about my income and that kind of thing recently, and I managed to, after a month of waiting, and one incident where I turned up with the papers and they said no, this isn't enough, so I had to come back another day with my papers and managed to get myself 10 months of digital nomad visa. So I've got a bit of an extension here now, having spent 3 months nearly here, which is the amount that they give you under the no visa in the Schengen area scheme. So I'm going to be here officially until next year, and it's been alright. I've been kind of head down writing my books and stuff, and haven't really been too involved in the country. I feel like I need to do more of that. I've seen quite a lot of the city. I've been doing a lot of walking around, and I do like it. It's been tough because it's been so cold for so long. So you kind of lose enthusiasm a little bit here and there sometimes when it's grey and cold and windy. So I'm looking forward to the spring and the summer here. But the plan now is I'm actually about to head down south to another city in Estonia called Tartu, which is actually the city of culture, one of the several cities of, I think, European culture for 2024. It's a student city, quite nice, smaller. And it's a good base for me to check out a few properties I've been looking at around there. I had a thought the other day, which was that instead of worrying about needing to get a long-term residency, which is quite difficult and it's not guaranteed, I might actually figure out a way to spend some of the year here, which actually I quite like the idea of, because I don't think I would necessarily want to spend 12 months of the year in one place, even if I've made a pretty hefty investment into a property. But the properties are more affordable, especially if you get like an old farmhouse that you can renovate. So I'm looking at a few of those, and I may, if I do get something like that, spend a few months of the year there and then leave so that I can earn back my allocated visa-free time, and you're allowed, as far as I'm aware, and I might not be correct, 3 months out of every 6 months you're allowed to stay visa-free in Estonia as a non-EU citizen. Me being a Brit, me being post-Brexit Brit, not allowed certain things that other people do. And so I might just do that. I might just not even need, and comment down below if I'm completely incorrect about this, I might not need a residency permit. I can just get a place, live there during the time that I'm allowed in the Schengen area, and then leave to wherever for the rest of the year, go to places like Romania, Bulgaria, where it's not Schengen. I'm allowed to live there on a different type of visa-free or tourist visa situation, which is cool because that could afford me a bit of variety. I'm not necessarily staying in one place. I would kind of no longer really be able to live out my dream of having a more, developed farm homestead type situation, because I couldn't really run one of those if I was constantly leaving. But that's okay. I think I like the idea of getting a bit of the best of both worlds, which is staying put somewhere rural that's got a nice sort of countryside vibe to it, bit of land, forest around me, lakes, hiking trails, just a really nice kind of isolated feeling for some of the year, and then go wherever I want to. I'm fortunate enough to have created a situation where I'm remote working, so as long as I've got internet, I can keep my work going, my writing, my book sales, my coaching going, and be wherever I want to be, really. And I've been a little bit bored recently, which is a bit ironic given that I've just written a book about creative motivation. I do follow that advice, but sometimes you can get yourself into a bit of a rut when you're doing the same type of work over and over again. So I've been finding that I've been doing a bit of that. Also applies to the videos a bit, as you can tell. I haven't really been sharing much, and I've already shared about 450 videos, for example, and I find myself repeating the same point. So I'm starting to feel a bit better about things, and I may well get into more of a swing of recording videos, with this one being the kind of kick-off again of another phase potentially of video creation and other forms of creation. But have found myself a little bit bored of the same old sort of. I've written close to 1,000 articles, and I write a lot, and I enjoy writing, and I will continue to write. But I find that I need I need something else. I think it is away from the screen. So my update with you today is going to come mostly in the form of, I have these ideas about things I want to do that I haven't quite yet done. So it's not me showing you much, it's me showing you more about what I'm planning to do, especially stuff that is away from a screen. So as I've said, this property is potentially happening if I can figure it out, and if I'm allowed, for example, I'm not even 100% sure if I'm allowed to buy a property as a non-EU citizen without a visa. I think I can. If not, there are other opportunities elsewhere, I guess. I'm also looking into getting a car, some sort of a four-wheel drive thing. It's just a sort of passion, really. I don't really need it, but it would be nice, especially if I'm living rurally, to have, if I've got this property, then get a car that allows me to drive about in the country, but also to leave. Might not even need it, but I'm really kind of speaking from I suppose it's a sort of sense of I need something else, some other window to a bit more variety, adventure, camping, that kind of thing. I'd love to do more of. So hopefully potentially the car would open that up, especially given that I also want to get a dog. Looking into getting a dog companion, it's been something I've been thinking on a lot. But I think that if I was to get a house somewhere that's quite isolated, it would be nice to have a dog companion there, at least for while I'm alone in life, until maybe something else changes. But it would be nice to have a dog companion, and if that was the case, that I'd have to make some sacrifices. It would mean closing down potential further travel for a lot of the year. I could, I suppose, still give the dog to some carer if I wanted to go a bit further, but I'm starting to make peace with the idea that I might just have Europe as my kind of adventure ground, and use my car to drive around as necessary with the dog, so that I can be with the dog more often, and I can also drive home to the UK, for example, from Estonia with dog to visit family. I can drive out of Estonia in the car with dog to places further afield. Yes, it's a long drive, but I could dedicate like a week, a few times a year to go to driving a bit further, so I can get out of the Schengen area and live somewhere else for a bit. And it just sounds exciting to me because it opens up the world a bit more. It gives me an excuse to drive about and see different places, and potentially live in the car for short periods, car camp, that kind of thing. So that's where I'm at. Sorry about the wind. Is creating a life that's potentially a bit more complex, a bit more complicated, with a few added expenses thrown in. So I'm no longer kind of as footloose. If I go ahead with all this stuff, I won't be as footloose and completely free of added weight as I am now. But at the same time, it will introduce potentially something else to get my teeth into. A house to look after, dog to look after, car to look after. Just a few things that can kind of take my brain out of the continual grind of online work. So again, as I said, I haven't done any of these things, so it's not really much of a life update, more of a sort of a plan update. But in terms of what I'm doing right now, living in the centre of Tallinn, I've been here nearly 3 months, and I'm about to head to Tartu, another city, which I'll hopefully do a video on as well. And if you're interested in seeing a few shots of Tallinn, there's a video I made a couple of videos back that you can check out and see some videos of that. I also went over to Helsinki on the ferry, a couple of hours boat ride last week. Really liked Helsinki. I was there during a nice blast of good weather as well, and it was different vibe than Tallinn, a bit more kind of international feeling, a bit more sort of just felt bigger, and a bit more kind of bit more motion going on over there. But I do like Tallinn as well. It's very cool, and especially the old town, and it's a beautiful place to be for now, so happy. Writing a lot, working on another book, doing a lot of walking, not really going to the gym that much, not really doing a huge amount of socializing, although I'm getting into that phase of life where I don't really feel I need it as much, but I could also do more, But there's always this sense at the moment I'm a bit in limbo. If I'm going to go to Tartu next week, I've got less incentive to want to really dig in and make lifelong friends here in Tallinn. I've made a few connections and I've talked to a few people, which is great. Just got plans to keep writing. I'm really into writing books. I want to get into writing fiction. I want to get into just renovating a property as well as another sort of a side skill to develop. Just learning more about hands-on stuff. It'd be great to have a little workshop going in this new house. Get into a bit more creative stuff away from the screen, painting, making furniture, whatever. Having a garden. Just having a bit more of a varied creative life with more hands-on stuff. And then to have the additional option of maybe being able to, for half the year, drive somewhere else, go and live in Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, something like that. And I'm excited, if this all comes to fruition, to bring you along on the way and do a bit more video stuff too. If you aren't following my newsletters, there's a newsletter that I do on productivity, energy, spirituality, consciousness, just mental health, mental wellness, called Untethered Mind. You can go there at untetheredmind.co. It's a place where I share articles regularly about that kind of stuff. And there's another one on, more specifically, creating content, writing, making a business online, how I do it, called Mastery Den, masteryden.com. But any questions, share them below. If you're in Tallinn or Estonia, let me know, and we can link up, and I will be keeping you posted on the further news. Take care, guys.